All right, guys. We are streaming now. Nice. Appreciate that. Let me just double check everything. It is on Mixer, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, D Live, and hopefully Twitch. And everything should be cool this time. I think we might have figured it out, but we shall see, right? Okay. Cool. So it is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. Get ready for a show. This is the Hake Report, and I am James Hake, and it's 9 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about Clarence Thomas. I watched his documentary, 2-hour documentary, highly recommended, and I'm going to touch on attitudes toward cops amongst the right. We can discuss that a little bit. Don't be too radical, guys. What's up, How Computer Smell says, Hake, and I am willing to talk about Ahmaud Arbery. I watched the bulk of this video, this supposedly new video that came out. 2017 police body cam video. I watched it. I don't have the clip to show you guys, but I am going to link it to you guys, and I can, maybe I'll cover it tomorrow. There's a lot of cussing in it, right? But shout out to Spoiler Alert is back. And the World Health Organization, I want to touch on that and all that mess. Bill Gates, vaccines, and all that disgusting stuff. I read Hake News at the towards the end of each hour, especially hour 1 and 2, right? End of hour 1 and 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And I read that Alan Dershowitz, a constitutional lawyer guy, well, he knows the Constitution, but he's a liberal, claims that the government, state governments specifically, like if a state is liberal, and the liberals tend to try to do this, they can force vaccinations on the people. Evil, huh? With sketchy, dubious medical, medical authority. Communism. Something like that. It's crazy. Anyways, let's get ready for a show. I think everything's streaming well, right? And I think that we shouldn't have problems this time. We may have figured out a solution. Nice. We can get around the COVID. Cool. So let's get started.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys! So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. Let's get started. This is what I just showed you, what Joel just showed you, is photographs from the movie that I just referenced. Don't forget to catch it. I'm highly recommending this. It's on PBS of all places. PBS is a communist network, and they're actually airing this thing. Nice, right? They weren't behind the production of it, so don't worry. It's not a publicly funded documentary. It was made by a conservative filmmaker, right? PBS Video is streaming this film, Created Equal, Clarence Thomas, in his own words, for 2 weeks starting yesterday. I caught it pretty much the moment it came out. It's a biographical documentary. It was actually released like late last year somewhere, like maybe in theaters, featuring mainly just him, Clarence Thomas, the justice, Supreme Court justice. He's black, but he's not the dumb kind of black. He's actually like solid. And his wife, Ginny Thomas, talking also in there. Catch it before it expires June 1st. Because it's available on that site for 14 days, free of charge. So catch it. Recommended. Very nice. The only decent Supreme Court justice on the whole Supreme Court. The rest of them are cucks and commies. Disgusting people. Or just kind of weak. Which is the word for cuck, right? I have pictures. And by the way, Joe Biden is a big phony. He appears in this. He was leading like the committee or Senate hearings of this guy who before he became Supreme Court justice. The only good thing that George Bush, the daddy, did was appoint Clarence Thomas as the Supreme Court justice. And he may have only done that because he was black. The Thurgood Marshall, was Thurgood Marshall black, or what was that guy? Thurgood, I don't know my stuff. Marshall. I couldn't tell because was he black? Thurgood Marshall was black and liberal, says Jesse Lee Peterson. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the tip. And Nick for passing it on. He retired, the first African-American justice. First the worst, right? So, anyways, I don't know if he was the worst, but he was bad. He was black and liberal, nominated by Lyndon B. Johnson. So you know he was bad. Lyndon B. Johnson was horrible, a horrific president. Anyways, Clarence Thomas is so based on what's right. They say based, right? And I take that to mean based on what's right. And he is so based on what's right that the other justices, even the so-called conservative justices, are usually afraid to sign on with his opinions. He's written over 600. He's written 600 opinions or more, which is 30% more than any other Supreme Court justice. I don't even know if he's the longest serving. He might be currently the longest serving Supreme Court justice at this point. But Ginsburg was nominated by Clinton, right? Which would have been after him. Ginsburg is the old, decrepit, grandmotherly, pro-abortion, far-left extremist who people pretend they call her RBG, the notorious RBG, comparing her to like the rapper Biggie. Stupid, ridiculous, cringy. But this guy is solid, and he also is for what the law says as opposed to just merely what he thinks is right, which is interesting. So check it out. This woman who went after him, who liberals and socialists, I ran across a socialist on Twitter who is mad at Bill de Blasio, right? The socialist mayor of New York, for being basically rules for thee and not for me type of a guy. Bill de Blasio, traveling over to Brooklyn to take a little walk, a hike, and doing unnecessary, non-essential travel, to go out on the parks with his wife, his black wife, former lesbian. And this socialist guy is calling him out. But then I look in his and he sounds kind of female and socialist. You know that female kind of voice that guys sometimes get. And so I click into this person's profile. His name is like Brooklyn Daryl or Darren or something like that. White guy. I think he's white. And he's socialist, globalist, feminist, all these things, right? And I'm looking at how socialism is. It's all about lies. And this Anita Hill woman he says, he has on this guy's Instagram, Anita Hill, I still believe Christine Blasey Ford, and I still believe Anita Hill. Christine Blasey Ford being the female professor from up north in California, Bay Area maybe, who accused Justice Kavanaugh before he was confirmed as a justice. Just like Anita Hill accused Clarence Thomas of supposedly inappropriate comments. That's it. That's all they could accuse him of. And then Kavanaugh, he was actually accused of so-called rape or something. Stupid. Or attempted rape. Crazy. But Anita Hill is still a so-called respected professor amongst the far left. And the far left is pretty much the mainstream media nowadays, right? Disgusting. But I have a picture of her, evil person. And he worked with her like 10 years before he was going to be nominated to the Supreme Court. And they're acting like she's legitimate. She was saying just making up stuff. Awful person. Law professor. Shows you what kind of people are filling up the professorships, the academia, the media, the government. As you corrupt the people, the institutions become very corrupt. And you have to so-called respect the institutions? I don't think so. I was looking at this forced vaccination stuff, and they're trying to force people to vaccinate. And if you don't, then you're showing a lack of concern for the welfare of others. You're a selfish person. I told you yesterday about this story of me going to the park, and I wasn't wearing my mask because I'm outside, socially distanced from the people. And this beta father is telling his son, he's very selfish. He doesn't care about anybody else but himself. He's more of a female than the mother, maybe. Because he's judging based on what he's been told. Oh, if you don't wear a mask, you don't care about others. Huh? But he's raising his son a liberal, no doubt, right? That's a liberal type of thing to do. A liberal teaching his son to be judgmental. A judgmental liberal. Huh? Crazy. So Anita Hill is a lying socialist, and they love lies. And Black Lives Matter is a bunch of lying socialists. They love lies. And then you have suckers like some of the blacks who call into my show, falling for it, including this guy who's supposedly from Brunswick, Georgia, with this Ahmaud Arbery guy. And these people are just mess. And Clarence Thomas fell into that type of world for a little while, to the point where he had like regrets about how he treated his grandfather. A mess. So it's interesting. I recommend checking it out. Very nice documentary, but it's in his own words. Like, you hear him talking, you hear excerpts from his book, but also him being interviewed, and you see Ginny Thomas, the white wife, the second wife, talking, and she's like decent. There they are. Cool. Yeah, I don't believe in divorce and remarriage, but what's done is done, you know. Once you do it, what are you supposed to do? Anyways, I recommend it. So before I get to calls, I want to touch on don't be too radical, guys. So I was talking, I think it was yesterday, with our friend, your friend, my friend, friend of the show, Jesse Lee Peterson, Bond, KT from DC, right? And I heard on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, he said that he would divorce, or he would recommend a man divorce his wife if his wife were to cheat. One strike rule, bam, you're gone. And that may be more extreme than you need to be. It may not require you just up and divorce. It doesn't say you should divorce if there's a cheating that goes on. Gomer was a prostitute whom God told Hosea, I think the prophet Hosea, to marry, knowing that she was a prostitute, and she went out and cheated. And it was a representation of God, how God treats the people of Israel, or us, the so-called Christians, right? Because the people of Israel God's people were so faithless. They were like sluts and whores to him. To God, they were unfaithful, and God kept taking them back. Well, God made the prophet Hosea take this prostitute back no matter how much she cheated. Interesting. That's from the Old Testament. Isn't that interesting? So it's not necessarily true that you're supposed to just up and divorce right away. Similar with the cops. We should generally support the cops, especially on what's right. Don't support them when they're wrong, on what's wrong. But there's a whole lot of snakes coming in, calling them wrong when they're not wrong. But KT has maybe some valid criticisms, like they're setting up these snitch lines about this coronavirus thing. If somebody's open for business when they're supposedly not supposed to be, they're a so-called non-essential business, which doesn't exist. then they're enforcing the governors or the stupid oppressive mayors and city councils stupid rules and liberals stupid rules. I understand that. I'm not for that either. And then they don't want to hear about you getting harassed by dumb stores that want you to put a mask on a 2-year-old boy. Crazy, right? So I understand that, but KT said that he used to donate to a fraternity, the Police Officers Association, to support them, and had stickers on his cars. And then after seeing the double standard on how they treat the regular people who are complaining about being harassed unjustly versus the snitchers, they're prosecuting. They're they're not prosecuting. They're cops, right? But they're enforcing shutdowns that are unjust. So he quit donating and pulled stickers off his cars, whatever. To me, that seems like an overreaction. Show some grace and calm down, hold up. Don't overreact when you see people be weak or evil or do something wrong. Don't get too excited in either direction when a person does something right. Don't get too excited. Like Trey Gowdy, I never really was that excited about Trey Gowdy. But, some of these politicians will do something right and people get all excited about them. Andrew Yang will say, whites are disproportionately suffering. And all the whites get excited. And they like his, not all the whites, but some of the pro-white people who are into their whiteness, or they just see the attack on whites. They get excited about Andrew Yang, and then he cucks because he's caving to political correctness and public pressure and listening to advisors. Don't get excited in either direction about a person for whether they do something right or something wrong in your eyes, right? These are evil times, high stress times, lots of trials happening. People are going to let one another down sometimes. People are going to disagree. Those disagreements are going to seem high stakes in some cases, but they're not always. They're not as big as a deal as you're thinking. Be an example more than being punitive towards another person when that person does wrong. Or changing how you treat others just because they're evil. Like I've seen people wrong Jesse Lee Peterson sometimes. And I see he protects himself, but he doesn't treat them the way that I would think to treat them or whatever. And he's not thinking, feeling disrespected, for example. No matter how so-called disrespectful they are. And they are very disrespectful people, right? But he's not into this ego thing. So just watch yourself to KT and everybody, and it's just something to consider, right? Don't get too hardline. The Bible says, don't let your hearts be hardened. Isn't that nice? Because you don't want to confuse toughness and tough love with a hard heart. So just something to look out for. Anyways, more mess. I heard there was another video about Ahmaud Arbery. At one point, he may have been known as Ahmaud Avery. Ahmaud Marquez Avery or something like that. If that mugshot of him as a 17-year-old or 19-year-old actually brought a gun to school and ran from the cops, a cop got injured in the pursuit. If that turned out to be real, then his last name at one point was considered to be Avery, or maybe it was just a crazy typo. But I saw most of this video. The Glynn County Police, presumably in Florida, right? Or wherever this was, I forget now, Georgia? Yeah, encountered Ahmaud Arbery on November 7th, 2017 and attempted to tase him. Yeah, one of the cops attempted to tase him because he was acting kind of erratic. And they didn't know that he'd already been searched for weapons, right? But fortunately or unfortunately, whatever, His taser malfunctioned. Fine. Whatever. The Guardian released a The Guardian is a far left British outlet that has no business in America, but they still put stuff out. Selectively edited version of this video in which you don't see where the cop has to put his hand up against the guy's chest because the guy's running at him because the cop gets a little too close peeking in the guy's car, and the guy didn't want him peeking in his car, through the windows, and that wasn't going to open the door because you have, as a cop, you have to have permission to search the car, and he did not have permission, and Ahmad was making extra certain that he knew that, but Ahmad was erratic, like aggressive, getting all close to him, and the cop does this to keep a distance from him, and Ahmad's like, "Don't touch me." If I get the video tomorrow, which I probably will, you'll see it. It's crazy, but Guardian cut that whole part out. There was another time where he walked up before this, where he walked up to him and the cop says, "Hey, stay back." But there's another time when the cop is close, a little too close to Ahmad's car. I don't know what Ahmad had in there that he was trying to hide. Acting kind of suspicious. Typical, man. Typical black, the type of black that gets annoyed by being stopped by the cops anyways. So in a joint statement to The Guardian, lawyers working for the Arbery family, which is not a family, the husband and wife are not husband and wife, the father and mother, described the video as a clear depiction of a situation where Ahmad was harassed by Glenn County police officers. Harassed, please. He was not harassed. In all honesty, it shows Ahmad as a sketchy individual. So I may show it to you tomorrow. There's a ton of cussing. Let me get to some calls, but let me read a couple of super chats. I don't know if I read this one. Dark Side of the Bear What gave a diamond and said, "Hey, Hake, since you always say hey to us." Proud and Frank Denier gave a diamond and said, "Hello." And he said, 88. 88 is this I don't know, what is this? I know that it's, in one sense, the 88, when you see 88, that stands for HH, which stands for Hail Hitler. What are you doing that for? Right? Is that what it means? I don't know. That's what I read. That's what Wikipedia told me. So, but anyways, hello to you too. This is America, and you have a right to be a Nazi, a commie, or whatever. This is America. People are getting investigated. Cops want to find a person. I saw this. Cops wanted to find a person who wore a KKK hood. And this is not the one in California. There was one over in New York or somewhere. This is another incident. Because you're supposed to wear a mask to the grocery store. Another person wore a KKK hood to the grocery store or a market or something. And cops wanted to find him. I mean, the only reason that I would be leery of a person wearing that is because their whole face is covered. You can't see who it is. It's like the Muslims. It's like the Muslim women who wear these whole burqas, and you don't know what's in there. They pull out a knife and stab the Israeli soldiers. No thanks. Or they pull out a gun, or they have a bomb under there. It's crazy stuff. And you have no way of IDing them. Or Antifa wearing all their masks and being degenerate, evil people, pretending that they're all self-righteous over the whites. When the whites are showing their faces, they may have goggles and helmets because they know Antifa is so violent. This crazy stuff. It means hi Hake. Oh, 88 means hi Hake. My bad. Me judging. So anyways, let me get to, but my point is, this is America. You have a right to be for that stuff. And you have to give people the freedom to hate. People have a freedom, and I don't even know that this guy hates, but you have the freedom to hate other people. That's what love is. You give them the freedom to hate you. Duh. But no, the liberals want to enforce their false version of love. Oh, you have to serve everybody. You can't discriminate. Meanwhile, they're discriminating like crazy. Anyways, let me get to my second favorite caller, Earl from Michigan. What's up, Earl? How are you doing?
Hey, Hake.
Hey.
Hola.
Hola.
Grandmaster Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan.
I'm pretty sorry of a Grandmaster Dragon of a Ku Klux Klan if you think I'm that.
I can't hear you.
Man, you got to fix your
we have
phone.
a bad connection.
Yeah. Were you able to hear me when you were on hold?
Huh? No, it doesn't do any good. It happens on the Just Lee and yours. So
when you were on hold, could you hear me?
I had you on loudspeaker then.
Put me on loudspeaker and let me hear how you sound. Jeez, I'm too nice to Earl. This is affirmative action.
Can you hear me?
Oh, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, let's try this. I'm way too lenient. Dude, I'm going to get yelled at. Go for it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Auburn case.
Okay.
There's new information that the owner was advised by the police department because he had people going in and out of his property that he needed to contact the McMichaels because he was a former cop.
Right.
And so I doubt if that will surface. This was provided by the owner himself, that because that was illegal, he's not supposed to recommend a civilian to do police work. So that cop probably won't come out unless he's outed to say that he did that.
But he wasn't necessarily recommending a civilian to do police work.
Well, if he had any more problems, contact instead of the police department, he suggested a civilian, a former policeman who lived in the area.
Yeah, isn't it nice that neighbors can have a neighborhood watch?
No, that's illegal.
It's not illegal.
For him to do that.
You're
that's
just
his,
you don't know what he was recommending him to do.
How do you know what I know?
Because you don't know what you're talking about. You're a Democrat.
Because that's all you can say?
Yes. That's all I can say is you're a Democrat, and so you don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up with your foolishness.
No, you're foolish.
Democrats. You just land on these old deflective points of view just because you have nothing to say.
Because you're just making stuff up. You're saying that it's illegal. It's perfectly legal to commit a citizen's arrest, to do a citizen's arrest.
No, it wasn't legal for the police department who was licensed to do that, to possess somebody who's not, to give them police powers.
He didn't give him police power. What are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. You're just repeating stuff that you heard.
When you have someone go out and try to arrest somebody, that's police power.
No, that's civilians' arrest. Civilians have the right to do that.
What I'm saying, there's certain conditions you can arrest people under civilians.
And they had reasonable Your phone is too bad, man. Your phone is awful. Your phone is awful.
Well, I'm on loudspeaker. You know that.
I know, but you're pushing. How are you pushing buttons if you're on loudspeaker? Jeez, what a boomer.
I'm not pushing buttons.
Yeah, I heard a beep. Are you telling me my what I hear is not true?
Well, if you hear a beep, that's by accident.
I know it's by accident. I'm not accusing you of doing it on purpose. I'm just calling you a boomer.
Other thing, the owner
I love boomers, though.
that,
I got to make that shirt.
is that nothing was ever taken.
No, that's not true.
So,
stuff had been taken. That's why he set up cameras.
No, he's taking cameras to prevent something from possibly being taken. He said,
what I had heard was that stuff had been taken. There had been stuff being taken.
And they said
so that remains to be seen. I don't agree with your facts. It remains to be seen. You cite dubious facts. Remember when you said
the other
falsely?
thing-
Remember when you had to call back and apologize because you said that the man who took the video?
That was the one mistake. How many times have you been mistaken?
Rarely.
So don't preach to me about being perfect.
But you're still a Democrat. How are you still a
there you
Democrat
go
and you're
again.
old? You may be
gotta-
older than Boomer, honestly.
Are you sticking the line or something? You hung up on Democrat?
Yeah,
Republican,
it's ridiculous that you're a
Independent?
Democrat. It's stupid.
You sound so funny.
Thank you.
Because it sounds so silly. It sounds like a 15-year-old talking nonsense. But
The 15-year-olds are smarter than you.
you know there's a case in
Not
Tennessee.
smarter, but wiser. You're not wise.
in-
You're supposed to become wiser with age, Earl. How come you're so full of hate that you still remain a
Because
Democrat?
That's your right wing. That's right. Your right wing.
White wing.
Your white wing ideology. Your with your Tea Party affiliation type of.
Well, we know you're not a Christian. We know you're not a Christian.
There you go again. Yeah, there you go and deflecting with all this nonsense, off the wall stuff. You're a
But you're
Democrat,
saying white
you're
wing
not a Christian.
ideology.
What does that have to do with the price is right in China?
Huh?
Nothing. And the other thing is, there's a Brianna case in Tennessee that the police broke in with a no-knock warrant and
Yeah,
killed her.
I'm not a fan of no-knock warrants.
And killed her in her home. Her husband, not her husband, but her boyfriend, was on the phone with calling 911. And when they broke in, he shot, not knowing who was breaking in. And his girlfriend was asleep. They shot her. They shot 20 times, shot her 8 times in the bed.
I don't know, Earl.
And
I'll have to look into that. Thanks for the tip. Appreciate that. Hey, Earl. Earl, you support abortion?
Do I sure? I support the woman's right to abort.
Dang. That's
the
weak.
thing about,
That's weak,
There's
Earl.
one other small thing.
Dang.
We talked about.
How about same-sex marriage? Do you like same-sex marriage?
I'm not getting into all that other off the wall
It's just
stuff.
a yes or no. It's just a yes or no.
I don't care about that. As long as it don't affect me, I'm not worried about it. I'm not in everybody's bedroom.
So that's
like
a yes.
You are.
So that's a yes.
But,
You support it.
no, I just don't worry
No,
about
yeah,
it.
you support
it.
it.
Don't affect me.
No, you
I
support it.
don't concern myself
No,
with
no,
it.
you support
I
it.
don't have to support or not support
You
it.
support it.
I don't worry about it.
No, you support it.
The other thing.
You support same-sex marriage. That's disgusting, Earl.
You just want to talk about something.
No. You support it. You can't give me a yes, so I'm giving it a yes.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Because you're a
Absolutely
Democrat. You don't see
nothing.
clearly.
Shut up with this stupid nonsense.
All right.
The other thing I was talking about is what you wanted people to go back to the old days and where they could, question people just like the McMichaels did back to the time when they can just stop folks and question them.
They can do
I think
that to
that
this day.
happened
They can do that to this day. It's called a citizen's arrest. They had
I think
reasonable
they,
suspicion that a felony had been committed. Reasonable suspicion is all they needed.
I think
According
to
Stefan Molyneux, he read the law, which I doubt that you read the law. You're just listening to MSNBC and CNN and these dumb lawyers like Lee Merritt,
you can't
who's
just
a liar.
stop the person. You can do it under certain circumstances.
Right,
You
under
walk
certain
up to me,
circumstances
you
where
know,
a
you
black
can-
man is acting all sketchy and blacks are disproportionately burglars.
That's your opinion.
Did you know that blacks are No.
just
This is not
because you're
opinion.
biased-
This man was sketchy.
Just-
Would you want
just
Ahmaud
because-
Arbery in your neighborhood, Earl?
Huh?
Would you want a man like Ahmaud Arbery in your neighborhood?
Don't worry about him. in
Would
my
you want
neighborhood
him?
or not.
Would
The
you want him?
question is,
I gotta
was he
go.
was
This
he
is lame.
Involved any criminal activity? At
But
the
they
time
don't
he
know
was
that. They
stopped.
had reasonable suspicion that he was.
They didn't. They just
You
saw
don't know
somebody
that?
running,
They had
black,
reasonable
and
suspicion.
They didn't see him taking anything.
Yeah, they
didn't
saw
see
him in
committing
a house.
crime.
They saw him in a
didn't-
house where he shouldn't have been, and they had
No, they
reasonable
didn't see him in the
suspicion that
house.
he may have
They
taken
saw
something.
somebody running by the house.
And you don't
They
even
didn't
know what
see
he
him.
did or didn't do. Earl,
In fact,
You're just
In
spouting
fact,
nonsense.
I told you last time, the son didn't see a darn thing.
So what?
He was just going by what his father
So
and the
what,
majority.
Earl? So what?
So why are you making up the lies that they saw him? You don't
They
know
did see him.
the hell of what you're talking about.
You don't know
just
what you're
making
talking
up
about.
situations.
You're
That's
lying. You're just making stuff up, Earl.
No, but the only thing, what I was going to, before I was rudely cut off, what I was pointing out that there was a mob. I think it was in Tennessee.
I
think
gotta
they
go,
broke
Earl.
into,
You can tell me about that. You can tell me about that later.
Beyond Shepherd's house.
No, I gotta go, Earl.
And there was,
Adios.
okay, Mr. Ku Klux Klan Hitler 2.0.
Democrats
you
are
later.
worse. Democrats are worse than the KKK.
There you go with your political agenda.
You're a Democrat.
Shut up.
You're a Democrat. You
Shut
can't
up and
criticize the Ku Klux Klan. Democrats are every bit as hateful as the KKK.
Up and grow up, little boy.
No, you're the little boy.
Shut up. Adios, amigo.
All right.
Hasta la vista. Ciao, beta.
He adopted Jesse's word. Oh shoot! I hung up on the wrong person, and he's laughing still. Whoever called, hang up. Whoever I hung up on, call back. Man, I had the finger on the wrong button. Earl got me all distracted. I'm sorry, whoever I hung up on, call back. What a mess, dude. Okay, before I get to Louie and Chris and the rest of you guys and whoever I hung up on, please call back. What a mess. Wayne says on Wayne and Rhonda on Periscope says he, referring to Ahmaud, let's bring it back to reality. He was trying to take the gun and it went off accidentally. I don't know if it went off accidentally. Oh, it was Skip. Man, I'm sorry. Dang. Skip's my favorite snake. I don't know if it went off accidentally or if it went off on purpose. But Ahmaud was going for the gun. That's why he got shot and killed. And the whole thing was set up because Ahmaud was acting sketchy. And it seems like they had a right to stop him. I guess some facts remain to come out. And, now we don't have a justice system that's just anymore because the people are unjust. The people are not moral anymore. There's some. So hopefully we'll get real justice. But it seems like, for them to be charged with murder, that's not just. Doesn't seem like there is actual evidence of murder. So that's that. We saw George Zimmerman charged with murder. Ridiculous. So for years now, we've had a so-called justice system that favors black thugs over white, lawfully acting whites. Fortunately, most of the time, the just thing happens in the end, but, well, it's not really all that just. Darren Wilson lost his job for doing his job. Crazy, huh? What a mess. That's the guy from the Ferguson, Missouri case. And he had to go into hiding. He couldn't even hang out with blacks because blacks are so blind that they think that he's a murderer. Ridiculous. I can't believe that Earl is falling for that dumb libertarian. He's too old to be falling for that dumb libertarian stuff of, I don't care, it doesn't affect me. This same-sex marriage, supporting same-sex marriage, since he supports it. He's a Democrat. I know that he claimed, I never said I was a Christian. He never said he's a Christian. Well, obviously he's not a Christian. Let me get to Chris in Wisconsin. First-time caller. Chris, what's up?
Oh, hi, how you doing?
All right. You can't be on speakerphone. I only give special treatment to my second favorite caller, Earl. So be on regular phone, Chris.
Sorry, I was working on something there. I switched off.
Appreciate it. What's up?
Oh, man, I was just calling. I want to say I'm in support of the neighbors in the Aubrey thing. I grew up in Houston, and our house got broken into 3 times. And we lived in a predominantly black neighborhood. And, not that matters, But what did matter is our neighbors, on like our block especially, like our house got broken into 3 times. We never lost nothing, and that's because our neighbors stopped the people with shotguns when they would come out of the house.
Wow.
So, one time I actually go put stuff back in the house, but we didn't lose nothing.
Wow.
At the same time, if they'd have tried to shot them in half the first time, we probably wouldn't have had to worry about 3 times of break-ins.
Yeah.
And I think it's a detriment of what we're doing in this country by putting these kids or, any kind of thugs up on a pedestal like that and not supporting and celebrating the neighbor who actually has the courage to protect your stuff when you're there or not even there.
Right.
I mean, I think that's, those people, I think they're just being demonized so bad in the news.
Yep.
And using this race stuff, it's just horrible. It's pathetic. It's the worst argument I've ever seen. Growing up at school in Houston, I was in school probably, I guess I'd be like the second wave after the end of segregation or whatever down in Texas. And the one thing I noticed that the teachers started doing in school, even when I was a kid, right? When little black kids would act up, all they had to do was scream racism, and that was it. They would stop. You know what I mean? That'd be the end of it.
Yep.
And everybody else was held to a different standard. The whites, the Latinos, the Asians were all held to a different standard.
What a shame.
And I think it's horrible. And, thanks for what you guys are doing with your show. You and Jesse Lee, too. You guys are, Jesse Lee actually sounds like one of my old neighbors out of Houston.
Nice.
An old black guy told me, anywhere in this country, there's something for everyone. And all you have to do is have the courage to go and make it for yourself.
Yep. That's
Doesn't matter
nice,
who
man.
you are, where you're from. You just have to have the courage to go do it. And God bless those people that are out there protecting people's houses, and I hope people keep doing it, and I will do the same for my neighbors always.
Yeah. That's true, man. Appreciate that, Chris. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And baby killing's wrong.
All right.
All right, you have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Yep. Yeah, he's right. Baby killing is wrong. Earl, I support a woman's right to choose to kill the baby. That's Earl. Baby killing is wrong, Earl. That's clarity. What a sucker. I wonder how he can be. That's strange for a man to be that, old. I'm not saying Earl is old, but he's too old to be still thinking like that. But blacks are so infantilized, made to be treated like children. Like they don't know any better than to go into homes where they don't belong and go up and try to fight with a guy who's lawfully carrying a weapon, lawfully trying to do a citizen's arrest, and he unlawfully attacks him. Oh, cut him some slack. He was scared. Strange. What a setup. And this guy is right that they just have to cry racism, and then you just then the stupid whites will let them slide because they're scared of the stupid racism thing. Dumb. It's so ridiculous. But I'm glad, for example, that the kissing up to the race thing, if that's what was happening when that dumb guy who, what a shame. I'm talking about Bush, the daddy, who didn't even vote for Trump. I think he might have, I don't want to say that he voted for Hillary if I don't know that, but I thought I heard something along those lines. I heard that he did not vote for Trump. Evil. Trump is the best thing for the country, but he nominated Justice Clarence Thomas, and Thomas has a no excuses mentality, just what's right, straight down the line, the straight and narrow path. Isn't that so nice? So whatever the case, whether Bush was motivated by political correctness, oh, we have to replace the black liberal justice with another black justice. Well, this was the right black justice. And this was the right justice, period. This guy is the only decent one on the court to this day. I mean, it's seemingly only going to get worse until more of the people that are waking up start becoming men of influence in their worlds, which then we can turn stuff around. Because maybe he's why the country is still a country. People like Clarence Thomas and Donald Trump. So I take it back that Trump is the only person in the government I trust. I trust Clarence Thomas too. I forget that he's in the government, but he's just not in the lawmaking, even though the rest of the stupid judges are legislating from the bench, making up laws like, oh, you have the right to get with another man if you're a man and call that a marriage. That's a fundamental right. Stupid. Anyways, ridiculous. Let me quickly get to Louie out of Idaho. Louie, what's up?
You exposed Earl, Hake.
Thank you.
You exposed Earl. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Shout out to Bible Go-To Guy for the suggested questions. He's like, why don't you ask him about these things? Abortion, same-sex marriage.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I went to church today, and they want to take my temperature and ask me questions
Yeah.
before I can give me a mask to go in.
Wow.
Not. Same thing yesterday. I said, no way.
Yeah.
I said, nope.
I don't blame you. So did you go in then? Did they not allow you in?
No, I didn't. I said, no. And she said, oh, really? I said, yeah, and I said, how long until it opens up?
Yeah.
Maybe after summer. I said, well, I'll see you then.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, if somebody owns a private establishment and they want you to do it, you can comply, right? But I don't blame you for being turned off by all this stuff.
It's about control, I think.
I think so too. It's making a fool out of people.
Don't put your thumb on me,
Yeah. And people are submitting to this stuff, and they're it's like the pro-vaxxers versus the anti-vaxxers. And one side is judging the other, and the other side maybe sometimes judging the former. But there's an attack on so-called anti-vaxxers, right, by the liberal media. And so I don't join in on that attack. I'm leery of vaccinations myself, at least some of them. I'm sure that I imagine that there's some that are fine, but I don't know.
I'll tell you, I know enough that vaccines put a dead version of the virus into your body.
Most of the time, yeah, that's how they work. Yep.
But you know what? Who wants that,
Yeah.
I
And
don't know enough about science, or I'm not a doctor or anything or nothing,
that's exactly right. That's what the doctors exploit, is your lack of knowledge. And the solution is not to get knowledge, but to fight back, because no, you're not an authority. Look at you. You're not even healthy, referring to most of these doctors. And most of them are liberal. They're female-minded. They're oppressive-minded. They want to like use the government power to force people to vaccinate, because they're just so snobby with their dumb knowledge, and they're brainwashed liberals who went to school, right? And these schools are not these schools are not pro-freedom or pro-America.
You know what? My doctor told me, he said, do you want the vaccine? I said, no. He said, okay.
Right on.
He's a good doctor.
Yeah.
He's a good doctor. Yeah.
But it's crazy. They're shoehorning their different oppressive things through these different crazy out of left field topics, like so-called public health. And they act like you're the one who doesn't care about other people because you don't want to submit to their crazy, creepy vaccine that everybody should be leery of. So I appreciate it, Louie. It's good to
Wake up, Earl. Wake up, Earl. I'm 17th favorite color of Hake.
Nice.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Louie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Lin Yun Chin says, people are not property. That mama mentality is a threat to human integrity. I will not be raped by mandate or individual assault, not without a fight. Alejandro Davila says, keep up the good work, man. Al Gore Rhythm. Doing good work, Hake. Appreciate you and your YouTube mods. Yeah, very nice YouTube mods. And shout out to the D-Live crew as well. Lord Nikon says, hate to agree with Earl, but those idiots had no business playing cops. Any idiot tries to put me under citizen arrest, I'd fight them too. But Lord Nikon, would you be acting erratic and suspicious and put your life at risk, attacking a man with a gun and fight over the gun and get yourself killed? I don't know, man. I don't know if it's not playing cops to do a citizen's arrest if you're watching out for your own neighborhood. Do the men of a town answer this question for me? Because I have posed this question before. Do the men of a town not have a right to confront a thief? This man was a thief. I don't know if he had committed theft recently, but he was a thief. He had been charged with, and I think even convicted, of shoplifting in 2018, which is not too long ago, 2 years ago. Maybe less than 2 years, honestly, because it could have been late 2018. And 2017, acting erratic with the cops in a high drug area. So, I don't know, man. I wouldn't call these people I wouldn't shrug these people off as just any idiot. So, anyways, Lord Nikon, let me know what you think about men of the town protecting their own town. Lin Yen Chin says, please ask Earl if he ever tried the silent prayer. Earl, I hope you're listening. Have you ever tried the silent prayer? Call me tomorrow and let me know. He resisted citizen's arrest. And not only did he resist, he attacked, he assaulted Travis McMichael. Looked like to me. We'll see if the jury agrees, you know. But these lawyers who are in this so-called representing the wannabe family, the imitation family, it's not a real family of Ahmaud Arbery. They're saying stuff that's not true. They're bringing up so-called racial profiling, harassment by the cops. I did not see harassment in this video, and I'll show it to you maybe tomorrow. By the way, the World Health Organization has been holding its 73rd World Health Assembly, according to the Skim, which is a liberal female daily email that I get. Usually it's held in Geneva, and representatives from World Health Organization, which is the UN, United Nations, globalist, socialist, evil, America-hating, white-hating, man-hating organization. Very corrupt, by the way, too. 194 members of the World Health Organization, member countries, discuss a wide range of issues. It'll be held virtually for the first time, focusing on the disease that supposedly killed over 300,000 people worldwide and supposedly infected 4.5 million others. And from what I hear, opening back up, the states and local places that are opening back up are not experiencing higher problems than the places that are remaining closed. Interesting. That's what I hear. And now, you know, that I heard there's this former New York Times writer who no longer works for New York Times, but he's still like a journalist. He's pro-pot legalization, but he acknowledges that it hurts young people, especially kids, or young people all the way up to like age 25, from what I heard. Can mess up their brains and all kinds of crazy things. Well, he's pointing out that they're opening back up and nobody's, you know, these people that are opening back up, localities, whatever you want to call them, states that are opening back up, businesses allowed to return to normal, are doing okay still. And he points out that there's this gross thing where the media is fear-mongering about effects on children, supposed COVID-related effects on children, scaremongering. Because I've seen, like, there's some crazy rashes and things going on with the kids, with young people, children. And you can trust the liberal media and liberals in general to lie. I'm opening up the treasure chest on D-Live. That's what that sound was. Oh, man. I got to read some super chats and get to my favorite caller, Maze, out of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, how are you?
Hello, James.
How can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can.
Nice.
Well, you said you were saying that
she seems a little
the
quiet.
guy was inside
Yes.
the house looking at it. He had showing video, a whole lot of people going inside just looking and coming out.
I saw a whole lot of videos of this person himself. Looked like the same person coming in and out.
They were just coming up with an excuse.
No, it's ever since from October. No, hold on. From October to February, this guy seemingly was visiting this place Hey, there's a Maze sticker on D Live.
If the owner said it was no problem,
And it's
why
Tyler
did those
Perry.
nuts have a problem? They just went in and did a video.
Oh, maybe it's not.
Killing, and that's what it was, and that's why they're in jail for murder. But that's not why I called you.
You don't know
I
what you're
called you
talking
to
about,
check-
Maze.
I called to say about
That's a lie. I can't let you get away with a lie. You're slandering an innocent. You're slandering
that's why
innocent white men.
Why are they in jail for murder? They're
Because
not in jail just to be there.
very nice clock. Is that your
Well, I
50th
know. But
anniversary
anyway,
clock?
that's not why I called you. I called to explain to you about neighborhoods.
No. But you had to slide in that slanderous comment.
It's the truth.
Don't
Why-
you?
what
No,
are they
you
in jail
don't
for,
believe in the
James?
truth.
James, why are they in jail?
Someone is at the door. Because of politics. They're in
Politics,
jail
that's why
because
they're
of
in jail?
politics.
Well, why did it say murder?
They said
That's the
murder
politics,
because
it
the
said
same
murder.
reason that they said George
Well,
Zimmerman
you're in
committed
jail for
murder.
murder.
George
Right.
Zimmerman did not commit murder, but they charged him with murder
Use
too,
your
Maze.
brain. But they're
Maze,
in jail
use
and
your
just
brain.
motherfuckers.
Maze,
They're in
hold
jail
on.
for-
Use your brain, Maze. Innocent unless proven guilty.
No, not
Yes,
for
yes,
jail.
yes.
But they are in jail not for being under citizen arrest for arresting people about killing the guy. They are in jail for murder.
I
So
know,
if
but
they're in jail for murder, where are we supposed to
they're
look at it?
innocent of murder unless proven guilty.
You were trying to prove them innocent. A whole lot of people.
Because
that's
I'm
guilty
not
are
trying
out
to
walking
prove them
around.
innocent. I see them as innocent.
Now, can I get to my point?
No, you cannot
I
get
know
to
you
your
don't want me
point
to, 'cause
because
you're
because
afraid
you're
of the
lying
truth.
about these
No,
people,
I'm not
accusing
lying.
them of murder when you don't even have any
Why are they in
evidence.
jail? This says murder.
They're
it don't say
innocent.
nothing else.
Do you believe in
That's where I'm
innocent?
gonna go back.
Hold on, Maze.
They murdered the guy. What?
Do you believe in innocent unless proven guilty?
No. But they in
No?
jail for murder.
You don't believe in
until
it?
the trial come.
Maze.
Until the trial come, and then I'll believe in that. But they are in jail for murder. They're not in jail.
Oh, they're
for,
guilty.
picking-
They're guilty unless proven innocent in your
They are in
eyes.
jail for murder. James, use
Are
your
they
brain.
guilty unless proven innocent in your mind?
Well, something. Just like I said, people.
Wow,
are
you're
guilty
evil,
when they
Maze.
walk in the street
You're an
today.
evil, disgusting person.
If you say so.
Yes, I do
So
say
what am I
so.
supposed to- what am I
You
supposed to
also
do?
said,
Just because you
I'm
said
going to
that.
bring this up again. You also
What?
said that Bible Go-To guy probably spit on a person because he's
probably
white
did,
and
'cause
he's
you can
about that
listen to
age.
you can listen to what he
What
has
an
to say
evil
about the
person.
people that work with him. The people that work with
You're
him.
a slanderous person, Maze.
I'm going to guy. I would
That's
tell black
evil.
people what they need to do. He need to see what he's doing with his own. But you didn't give
You
me the
look at
opportunity to
yourself.
explain to
I'm
you.
not going to give you an opportunity
I
because
know
the
you're
show's
not, 'cause
over.
You're scared. You scared.
I'm not scared. You were the one.
Yes, you are. When you're
I
scared of something,
said-
you just run from it.
I said, do you believe in innocent unless proven guilty?
I said when it's a trial, but there's no trial, so they're in jail for murder until there is a trial. That's what I said. Use your brain, Jay.
Oh,
Brain power.
they're
Brain
guilty
power.
until there's a trial?
And I asked you what they're in jail
That's
for. You can't
evil,
say it.
Maze.
Can you say it? You can't even say it. Why are they in jail?
They're in jail
What does it
because of politics. I told you
No,
that.
could you say it? That's not what it says.
They're in jail for politics.
They in jail for murder. You
They're
can't
in
even
jail
say the
for
word.
politics.
Can't you say it? It won't hurt you.
No, it won't hurt you to believe in innocent
It
unless
won't
proven
hurt
guilty.
you. I don't believe. I'm saying what it says.
You're
They're
an
in
evil
jail.
person, Maze.
You can call me
You
what
like to
want.
accuse white people. You're lynching
No,
the
no,
white people.
That's what I want to explain.
You
to
are a
about white
lyncher,
people, how they
Maze.
think when people come
You're
into
worse than the
neighborhood.
KKK, Maze.
Well, whatever. Excuse me?
You are worse than the
You don't know
KKK.
nothing about the KKK. 'Cause you weren't even around when
Neither were
every time they
you.
was doing their dirty deeds.
You
So
don't
what
even
you
know
talking about?
anything about the KKK
That's what
either.
I'm saying, Jay. Rest your mind and use it.
No.
Because you go to your nieces and your nephews.
No,
and
no,
they
no,
listen
no,
when
no,
you
no,
talk
no,
about
no,
people
no,
that-
no, 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 no,
that
no.
look like the other side. They
Maze
wonder what's wrong with their uncle.
lynches
You
the
know,
white
that's
man.
what
I gotta go, Maze. You have a good
You
day.
have a good one, Jay.
All right. Oh man. On YouTube, not D Live. LOL, just kidding, says Dark Side of the Bear. Do something to your mods are timing out contributors. Timing out on YouTube. I don't know. Dark Side of the Bear what says Ahmaud Arbery arrest for stealing or shoplifting. Same thing, right? Barely News Network. Dark Side of the Bear what? Barely News, Brandon M. Proud A. Oh yeah, I already read that one. Let me just double check the last of the super chats. How Computer Smell with the super chat, and Jib Jab says great show. Appreciate that, guys. Rick from Hampton, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you. Maze was being a snake. She said, I asked her, do you believe in innocent unless proven guilty? She said, no. And then she said, until there's a trial. What? Sketchy person. Anyways, I'll see you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with the Hake Report and Jesse Lee Peterson. TheHakeReport.com/show for my stuff. You can podcast. And JesseLeePeterson.com/show for his stuff. And I do have to work still on the I Love Boomers t-shirt. I got to get that out. All right. Take care.